Okay, so we're gonna pick it up from where we left off yesterday. Yesterday we learned the Kafachayim and the Chut Shani. Today we're gonna learn the Dirshu. Actually, there was one thing that we skipped in the Vehadar Mishna Berura, which I think everyone will get a kick out of and will enjoy a lot. So we're gonna do this. This is going on this point that we skipped when the Mishna Berura quoted the Zohar right over here, who said the Mikubalim say that there shouldn't be any machlokes in the house on Shabbos, all right? And especially between spouses. And then he says, and it's proven from the Gemara in Gittin by those two people that were fighting. Well, what's the story over there in Gittin? They bring down over here in this footnote the Gemara, and it's an interesting idea. Marasham Isa, the Gemara over there says, could I look up this Gemara? What is it? Nun Vav, I think, in Gittin? Nun Beis. Nun Beis and Alf, right? Kedai to look up that Gemara. So the Gemara over there says, Haneu Trey, there were two people, the Igru Behu Satan. The Satan frequented visiting them. He visited them. The Kol Bei Shimsha. Every single Rashi explains Bein HaShemash Shabbos. Every single time that it was right before Shabbos, the Satan was in there. Havi Kaminsu Behadeh Hadadi. And they were fighting with each other. Right? Iklei Rabbi Meir Lahasam. Rabbi Meir visited them. Ak Vinehu Tlasa Beishimsha. For 3 weeks, every time Erev Shabbos, Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Meir waited there by them Ad Lahu Shalma until he made shalom with them, until he made peace with them. Okay, so Shemaiah, the Satan, heard about what was happening. Oh, sorry, Shemaiah. They heard the Satan that the Satan was saying. The Satan says, "Voy da'afke Rabbi Meir lahahu gavrim beise." Woe to Rabbi Meir that he kicked that person out of his house. He's referring to himself in third person. Woe to Rabbi Meir that he kicked me out of the house. The Satan was saying. So the Mikubalim, they take this Gemara in Gittin. We see from this Gemara that Erev Shabbos is a very auspicious time. It's a time when there's rush hour for the Satan to come in there and to try to cause some havoc, to make a machlokes. Ubavadai kavanas hasatan shemizgaber b'Erev Shabbos hu b'kedei sheyikrutu l'Shabbos machlokes. Why is the Satan causing machlokes on Erev Shabbos b'dafka? The answer is because if you're going to go into Shabbos with a machlokes, then you're going to have a machlokes on Shabbos itself. So the Erev Shabbos, even though all the halachas that we're learning are essentially halachas of Erev Shabbos, they affect our whole Shabbos. The truth is, a lot of the halachas that we're learning are on Shabbos as well. But it's a momentum. They say like the most important is the day is like the first day when a person's starting yeshiva, school, a job. That first day, the first impression is crucial and a lot of times sets the momentum and the tone for what will follow in the future. So that's the idea over here. So that's the idea over here. That's what the Satan was trying to do. He was trying to cause a negative impact on the rest of Shabbos by causing problems at our Shabbos. That's Rabbi Meir invested so much of his time and energies to causing peace in that house, to create harmony and peace in that house, in order that there won't be a machlokes in Shabbos. Say Rabbi Meir, he's in Mishnayos. What's he doing, wasting his time? He has things to do Erev Shabbos. No, you realize that this is the mohos, the yosoid, the essence and foundation of Shabbos. Alkein sarach. Therefore, we need to be careful that there's not going to be any machlokes on Shabbos. And this I thought was something very nice to share, and something that's a nice idea. They say so we discussed in the past that Nachazvi says, why was that malacha just selected out of all the malachos? I think it's Parshas Vayakil. He says it's referring to the machlokes. You got to get rid of machlokes, the Isha machlokes. When it talks about this, or burning fires. I'm talking about actually burning fire. I'm talking about machlokes, deep pshat. But that's the idea. We discussed a while ago when we were learning the I think it was the Sifsei Chaim, Sifsei Chaim on the website. It's somewhere in here. Sifsei Chaim, humility, not humility, anger. Telling you it's somewhere in here, somewhere in these anger. I remember we did this a lot.
117.
What?
117. It was slightly above.
Yeah, that's where the anger starts. But I'm saying starts at 117, but each of these are recordings.
Oh, you say? Oh, I see. There's a ton of them. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
there's like 15 of them, so or 20. So there's like somewhere in here where we discussed 30 maybe. Where we discussed this idea. He mentions that a person has to be careful not to get angry Erev Shabbos. That's a time when a lot of times the Yetzer Hara will try to get us. I'm telling you, it's somewhere in here. Sifsei Chaim, Rabbi Chaim Freelander from I think Panovich. I think he was like the Mashgiach there or something. So we have a fair amount on this that we went through. Only 150? I thought it was more. I mean, 150 is a lot. But yeah, this is good stuff over there. What?
The dates.
It doesn't say the dates. Yeah, no. It's from. It must be from around 8-9 years ago. 8 years ago, probably. Yeah, Shayash. Yeah. Okay. So that being said, let's go through the Dirshus, and that's the Indian. Yeah. By the way, my idea of doing Parsha on Monday, we're already seeing the fruit because I saw it already got 5 hits. Yeah, do our good deeds matter? That was the title. The problem is that I saw that they weren't watching the whole thing. They say when you start off, you should never look at the stats and everything. It's always very, but it's Baruch Hashem so far. Yeah, even if it's one person.
5 is still a lot.
Yeah.
For a couple of days and nobody knows about it really.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So anyways, okay. But yeah, you infect one person, could die. Okay, footnote 3. V'imlo hisir es korya hakov mishv'yon kos b'tila David shei muksa. This is actually a very interesting point. We were talking about removing spider webs. You should do that Erev Shabbos, and we saw also Makor Chaim sweeping the house. So the idea is that if you don't do that on Erev Shabbos, you should know that your spider web is mutter. So you got problems of doing that on Shabbos itself. So that's something to keep in mind. Alkain, therefore, kasher anoshim nimsoim bebayis das agoin rishulman talbanover shkevan sheish bazem yishum graf shel beimut lasiyum. So you have technically a stringency, and then you have technically a leniency. Right? The stringency would be the spider web's mutter. Okay. The leniency would be that if you have other people in the house and it's like, whoa, like this guy's got spider webs, like he's so dirty like that and can't clean it up. So you could remove that on Shabbos because it has the halachic status of a graf shel rei, which is essentially a pitcher of excrement, which means that this is where the heter comes from, that it's permissible to remove garbage on Shabbos.
But I don't hear that because it doesn't smell, or it's not like usual graph.
Look, the question that you're asking is a very cute question because Lamaisa doesn't smell. However, the pshat is that it's considered something that's mius. It's disgusting. Like a garbage, even if a garbage doesn't smell, right? So for example, in our house, so we don't keep obviously the dirty diapers in the garbage. We have a special plastic bag. We bring it outside and we have the plastic bag hanging outside. And then once it gets full, when I take out the garbage, so then I put the plastic, like the shopping bag, in the main garbage and then out. So our garbage usually never smells, right? But still, if it's full, there's a heter, it's halachically permissible to remove it outside because it's considered like it's gross, whatever. So you could allow it. So then so too the spider webs. Okay. Footnote 6. We're gonna follow my underlines from years ago when I first learned this. V'imhesir es hamapa la'achar havdalah. That's why we're not gonna highlight. It's already underlined. We don't need to double up. It's all good. Look at those underlines. Looks like it was straight out of the factory. Getting so much nachas from my underlines. V'imhesir es hamapa la'achar havdalah. So let's say if you remove the tablecloth after havdalah. Kishiyavo la'echel seudos malav malko kosav l'kaiman sheyesh la'achzor V'lifrois mapa al shulchan l'kavoid sudazo. So this is talking about if someone removed the tablecloth after Havdalah, so if he's going to eat the Malava Malka, so there's an idea of now putting on a new tablecloth from Lava Malka. Okay, Biur Halacha talks about it. Okay. Lil Bosh Big Day Shabbos B'Yom Chol. We already saw this. Kappa Chaim says wearing Shabbos clothing during the week. He says you could. Also Rav Nisim Karelitz, and he explains because wearing. Wait. Hold on. He says Shalom. You shouldn't do that. Shalom Yilbash Kappa Chaim says you shouldn't wear Shabbos clothing during the week. And as we already saw yesterday, Rav Nisim Karelitz explains because you are decreasing the honor of Shabbos by doing so.
That's why his answer about wearing by simchas, right?
Yeah. By simchas, he said.
That's what should use by simchas.
By simchas, he didn't want you wearing it by simchas either, I think.
Right.
We're live with the Uchani, right? The Mai says in Big Day Shabbos.
And what he said that by
He says simchas going liz smachos shel rishos.
and he said that by Motzei Shabbos also.
Motzei Shabbos, there was a massive machlokes that we learned in the Oz Vehadar Mishna Berura. They brought it very nicely about wearing Shabbos clothing Motzei Shabbos. There was a massive machlokes about that. Let's see if I remember it well enough to pull it up exactly where it is in those footnotes. It must be in which one was open? That was 6. 6 that's open. Must be in 5. File number 5. Must be 5. Maybe 4. Maybe it wasn't 6. I just moved it. This is, I mean, it talks about it for a few sifim. So, but they brought it, they presented the information very, very nicely. Tshuva. No, that's already tablecloths.
I guess my point is though that did Rav Nisim Karelitz specifically address the Motzei Shabbos issue?
I don't know if he addressed that issue, to be honest.
He's applying it to that.
This is
Dirshu's applying it to that.
yeah. This is already shoes. I don't know if it's all the way back in 2. Unable to locate it. This is not good. Just saw it last night. And losing this here. Let me make this bigger, get this out of here. This whole bar is, how do you get this bar out of here? Okay, there you go. Yeah, right over here. It's in footnote mem. Right over here. This is what I was looking for. So I'm going to zoom it in now. Found it. Okay, here it is. Yeah, I know I saw it. I got a lot of enjoyment when I went through this last night because I was typing up last night, typing up everything we did. So the Torah Chaim explains that immediately after Havdalah, you need to remove your clothing in order not to wear Shabbos clothing during the week. The Yisod V'Sharash HaAvoda quotes the Arizal, who says you don't remove them until after Malav Malka. Kappa Chaim says that as well. Torah Chaim explains that this Suda has a connection to Shabbos, Shaychus to Shabbos, and therefore you need to right? Therefore, you would need to wear your clothing after Havdalah as well from Malav Malka. However, look at Yosher says the Trumas Hadeshin would not remove his clothing until he would go to sleep. So in other words, you have 3 different opinions as to what to do. Either you have the idea just right after Havdalah, remove them immediately. Either you have the idea of after Malav Malka, or you wear them until you sleep. 3 different opinions. Yeah, 3 different approaches. Yeah.
So just point of view.
Yeah.
Because it seems like he didn't bring down the Chut Shani at all over here for that.
No, I don't think the Chut Shani talks about that.
Right, but he's bringing it.
What I remember.
Dirshu was bringing it down for that though.
They are?
That's what I'm saying. We're talking about wearing your clothing.
Hold on, let me see that again inside. The Dirshu says, I don't think so. They're saying in general, stamazo, they're saying wearing like today on a Thursday, wearing your Shabbos clothing. Yom Chol, they're not talking about Motzei Shabbos. That's a separate specific shaila. Wearing Motzei Shabbos, they're talking about during the week. They're talking about full-fledged during the week. Motzei Shabbos is already in a different level than during the week.
And this note is going on what? The number 7 is going on.
Let me scroll down, take a look. This number 7 is going, and you don't wear on Shabbos whatever you wore during the week, even the underwear. Now we saw yesterday that the Chuchani says your undergarments you could wear on Shabbos. So you had different opinions about that. So we'll see that when we get to the Chazar, but it was very important last night that I finally hyped up. I mean, I'm totally caught up on everything that we did. It was very important that I did this. I have to reorganize it and make some more sections and everything, but the reason why it was very important because now I remember it better. And you know what we're doing, we've been sitting on a long time, already 10 sessions or something, and yeah, it's but even so, you see how every single thing there's always something more that's halacha l'maaseh that's applicable that we didn't already learn, and it's also a lot of cross-referencing. So that's why it's important to review, and you know, that's why it's good that now it's recorded. You could always review it, and also we have the notes. I'm gonna type up and try to summarize everything that we did to bring it all down to planet Earth and make it easily organized on the Word doc, like as usual. Okay. What about wearing a belt? Having a special Shabbos belt for Shabbos and then wearing it during the week. Morning, David. Talk about wearing a belt, a Shabbos belt, during the week. So the Shulchan Aruch Harav quotes the Arizal who says that you shouldn't wear such a belt during the week. Meaning there's even a concept of having a special Shabbos belt. What there's sources for belts in general. It goes back way back, and you could research when belts were created, but they go back a long way. Belts, long way. B'chein nahag hagra. V'hachlef es kol begadav v'lo yotzim minakal. This we saw this Ma'aser Rav yesterday or the day before. The Vilna Gaon would change everything, all of its clothing. V'achazan ish nahag l'hachlef. Kamaskipa l'kavat Shabbos. The Chazan ish would have a special yarmulke l'kavat Shabbos as well. L'hachlef es hana'alayim. What about changing your shoes? Truth is, we already saw this as well in the Vehadar Mishna Berura. Kosav be Shalos Teshuvos Rab Palam Zebechal V'hachlef Begodav. We saw this in the Chuchani as well. It's interesting. Are they going to quote the Chuchani? It doesn't look like they are for some reason. Sarachian on that one. But the Rab Palam says that this is not included in the obligation to change your clothing. What we saw, this is all straight out of the Kaf HaChaim, which we saw, by the way, because the Kaf HaChaim quotes this Rab Pa'alim, right? So they're making themselves look fancy. Oh, we looked at the Rab Pa'alim. No, you didn't look up the Rab Pa'alim. You didn't just find that out of nowhere. Whoever wrote the Dirshu, they got that straight from the Kaf HaChaim, because the Kaf HaChaim quoted this Rab Pa'alim. If you don't believe me, I can pull it up. You believe me? You don't believe me. Okay, I'll pull it up.
I believe you. I believe you.
You believe me? I'm still going to pull it up to show you how well I reviewed this last night, and I even know exactly where it is in the Kaf HaChaim. So I'm going to show off how well I reviewed it. Okay, where on earth is that? Right over here. Boom. Hey, I did my homework. I did my review. Rav Po'alim, Ayin Rav Po'alim. Look at Rav Po'alim. Chelik Dalet Simin Yud Gimel Dein Sarach LaHaflech. You do not need to change it, right? Chelik Dalet Simin Yud Gimel, right over there. Chelik Dalet Simin Yud Gimel, same exact thing. And the Kaf HaChaim said over here, that's Lafum Dina. It's according to halacha, but Midas Chasidus, you should change it. Also, the Chesed Alafim said, okay. So see, so I did my homework last night for everyone over here. Okay, so the Kaf HaChaim writes that even though Mikra Adin, you're not obligated to remove Shach Misar Adin and Chiyuv Mikol Makom Midas Chasidus Ulahachlef, V'chein Nog Chazon Ish. Midas Chasidus to remove it, it's preferable, and that's what the Chazon Ish did as well. So you see, when you do Chazar, it helps more on what you're learning new. Also, that's what you see from that also. Okay, so we already saw that. So that is old news. Le'inyan. It's interesting though, Sarachim, why they don't quote the Chuchani on that. They're quoting the Chuchani left and right over here. he also talks about this. He says the lashon of the Chut Shani, for those who might not remember it perfectly, he basically says it's preferable to remove them. He says right over here, na'alayim. He says your shoes is since they get dirty, since the norm is that they get dirty when you go in them, you don't need to change it. But when you shine them for Kavod Shabbos, you're going to fulfill a mitzvah. And then he says it's after it's possible that there's a maila, that there's a halachic advantage to having special shoes l'Kavod Shabbos Kodesh. Okay, so we see this idea comes out that at the end of the day, most people think that no, you're violating a prohibition if you don't wear special shoes for Shabbos. You don't have special Shabbos shoes. It's mamish, it's usher, it's this, it's that. No. We're learning the mother of all leniencies that technically you don't need Shabbos shoes. It's just, if you wear it, it's very nice. It's a nice thing to do. It's preferable. It's not preferable. It's midas chasidus, the efshar that there's a maila, but you don't need to. So that's a big leniency that everyone deserves to know after learning this for so much time and sitting on it. What a nice leniency to know, to realize. A lot of people don't even realize that. Okay. Le'inyan habegodim hapnimim hasmudim lagof. Okay, so here they quote it. Das v'nisim kerelishim sarich shem yuchal m'shavai. Here they quote the Chut Shani, which we already learned yesterday. If the clothing is directly connected to your body, such as undergarments, according to the Chut Shani, you do not need to have special Shabbos clothing for that, for your undergarments. We saw this also yesterday in the Chut Shani. They're just quoting the Chut Shani. We don't need to see it again, right? They're saying that's what needs some color. Sham, it's over there. Repeat. We already saw it done. Beer going to nisim korelitz. She'in choyv l'poshim. Okay. Oh, here they're bringing what we just saw. Okay. So according to nisim korelitz, you don't need. There's no obligation to remove them. Your clothing right after Shabbos. I thought he did mention it. So you don't need to remove your clothing right after Shabbos. That's also what the Leket Yosher says. It's the same Leket Yosher we just saw 10 minutes ago in those Vehadar Mishna Berura, that the Truma Zadar Hashem wouldn't remove his clothing until he went to sleep. However, the Chazon Ish, if I'm correct, okay, the Stipler, they had the minhag to remove their clothing immediately after Havdalah. Seems like even before Malka from there. So you have different opinions as to when to remove the clothing. So that's the idea over there. Good. And that is Dirshu number 1. Save changes. What changes do we make?
Unrelated, said you weren't highlighting.
No, we didn't highlight anything. Thinks that because we did a highlight thing, so then we made a change. Ooh, where is that located? That looks nice. Okay. So now we go to Dirshu 2. Right on schedule over here. Okay, we don't have much in here, honestly, to chew on. We only got one footnote. Footnote number 13. The time to wear your clothing. So Ksoisa Shulchan writes, custom is to put the undergarments on immediately after you use the public bathhouse, maybe mikvah, and even though you're taking the bath or shower when it's still day. In order that you do not wear the clothing that's dirty immediately after you wash your body. Only your clothing that isn't your undergarments you should wear near the time of Shabbos. Since it will be recognizable that you're wearing them l'kavod Shabbos. Okay, so that is the Dirshu. So what this means practically, actually, is if a person's going to take a shower 4 hours before Shabbos, he should put his undergarments on immediately, and he should not put his Shabbos clothing on yet. You should put that on closer to Shabbos. It'll be more recognizable that you're doing it l'kavod Shabbos. That's what that means practically. Well, it should be pointed out. We already saw the Ramah said that you should shower near the time of Shabbos, that you put your Shabbos clothing on immediately after. That was the Ramah in our Siman Reish Shamach base. Okay, that being said, let's begin the Piskay Teshuvos. He's got a lot of nice chedushim over here. Highlight already. Yisad shulchan of hainu prisas amapasad shulchan al chila. What this means is that you use a tablecloth. Say over here in the footnote, make sure the tablecloth isn't inside out. Just like clothing, you don't wear your clothing inside out, so too your tablecloth. Right? Okay, Alpi Muva Kola Poiskim Hacha. Poskim bring over here based on Magen Avram, quoting the Marshal, the Matan Moshe. The minhag is to put 2 tablecloths on your table that you eat. And the minhag is having a white tablecloth. I think a lot of people might not have this two business, as we saw. And he says something we already learned. It's fitting to cover all the tables with the tablecloth, even the one that you are not eating on. Footnote 2. Okay, we already know that, so that it won't be exposed even for a moment. That's why you have 2. He says, Lafiza. Nice point over here that we haven't seen up until now. Bismanenu daibe mapas hanailon shalamapa halavana hakavua. You know, we're talking about having 2 tablecloths. This way, when you remove one, in order to shake out the crumbs, let's say you're going to shake them out in the garbage or something, or to remove it to have a clean one for the next Suda, so the table won't be exposed even for a moment without a tablecloth. According to that, if you have a regular tablecloth and then you put the plastic nylon zach on top, and then you just take off the whole nylon and put a new one on, so then you wouldn't need 2 tablecloths, because the main tablecloth is remaining there. The nylon's a good trick also with kids around. Then you don't need to worry about stains as much. Now, the negative of the nylon is it costs money, right? Stuff isn't free. Now, don't ask me the price because I never bought a nylon thing in my life.
So it's the dry on the nylon, I'm talking about the disposable ones.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's the nylon, no?
I guess.
Yeah, that's the see-through one that you could see the actual tablecloth. That's what I think it is.
Then you know how much costs the dry clean.
Well, regular tablecloth, you just throw in the wash.
Shit.
Throw in the wash. It's going to cost a quarter. Not going to be as much as the nylon. Especially if you group your tablecloth in with other white clothing that you're doing. You're doing the whites anyways for your shirts, for whatever. So, nylon's a nice idea. I'm trying to think, how did I grow up? I think we grew up, we always used the plastic. My mom always used it, I think. Yeah, she was always a little.
Looks like he's-
Oh, no. I don't think she used the plastic. I don't think she used the plastic. I don't remember actually. It's been such a long time. It just wasn't important, I guess.
No, when you're a kid, you're not thinking.
Yeah,
about
you're
this
not
stuff.
thinking about this only when you're a big boy. Then you got to figure out what are you gonna do with the table.
Ask her, I'm sure she remembers or would share
yeah.
that with you.
I think Badavka, she didn't do it actually. She had these special tablecloths, which were like stain proof somehow, if that makes any sense. And in addition, I don't think we ever had grape juice that was purple because she was afraid of staining it. We always had the yellow one.
Interesting.
I think she was like that. I'm pretty sure that's the chat. I'm pretty sure. We didn't grow up with the wine. My kids grew up with only wine. They barely even know what grape juice is. I mean, we learned those things.
You know, they're singing.
Yeah, I mean, it's fake wine because it's the 5% sweet stuff that's like juice,
Nonetheless,
but
it's a lot-
nonetheless,
it's
it's
wine.
wine. It's wine. It's wine. Yeah. Okay, so you have the nylon. Achrabim nohagin shaloi l'shanos mehanohog mekadmas dana b'shtei mapos levana echas al sheni. Some people they go hardcore over here. 2 tablecloths, both white. Okay. Footnote 3, Drashus Ma'ari Evan Shuov, B'yozef Yiminag Hamadaktikim Shigam Kol Yemotza Shvu Oichel Mamaka Prusa LeShulchan Yeshag B'Shabbos Amal. So this is actually an excellent point as well. I'm really liking these points down here in the footnote, which is if people typically use a tablecloth during a regular weekday situation, so now it's not going to be recognizable when using a tablecloth for Shabbos. The way that it will be recognizable is if you make sure that you have a white tablecloth on Shabbos, because during the week you might not use a white one. So that's also something to think about. That's one idea behind this business of a white tablecloth. Why does it have to be white? Why is it white? So one idea is the recognition. Also, I'm sure you could say Alpi al derech drosh and Alpi what we learned by Begadim. There's 2 reasons why we wear nice Shabbos clothing. We learn number 1, covered Shabbos. Number 2, to recognize that at Shabbos that you don't do things that you're not allowed to do on Shabbos. So too with the tablecloth. When you have a different type of tablecloth, you recognize, oh, I'm not supposed to be doing certain things on Shabbos. Okay, so That's the idea. It says over here an interesting point in this footnote 4 over here. V'oison shulchanois asher mishamshin la'avoidus misradiyos nachol nakasois kishetach zamap bakol machshirin ha'elektronim. This is talking about over here tables that you use to work at. A lot of people now work at home since the whole COVID thing, the whole movement working at home, whatever. So a lot of people work at home, or they'll have an office in their house in addition to their other office, whatever it is. So that's a table that you're not really supposed to use on Shabbos. So you should still cover. He says it's correct to cover all of the electronic gadgets that a person has. Telephone, machshiri aksiva. That means in English pencils, pens. Kadesh yeheker l'kavod Shabbos. V'yizkor shayom Shabbos lo yikasher b'chosim alev. In other words, it's good that all of the items that we're not allowed to use on Shabbos should just be covered, so we might not unintentionally, accidentally use it, which we know happens once every couple of
I
years.
mean, would it be sufficient to put a big sign that says Shabbos?
No, because let's say, for example, maybe I'm going to be more careful about this. On the shelves in my farm room, I have some pencils there. I have lead, erasers, stapler, whatever. So you put one sign, the sign you got to put everywhere. The idea is if you cover it, so then it'll be, and also even the sign, like sometimes you just wake up, oh, I'll accidentally do it. And here's the place to talk about. Do they have it here? No, they used to.
It sounds like it's not meant to stop you from doing it. It's meant to be like a hecker, right?
A
Just like remind
recognition.
you.
No. Look, keep reading. V'yizkor shayom Shabbos v'lo yakashel b'choiser simaslev, so that you don't stumble when you are not paying attention, which means that you're going to actually use them, which means
I
that
see.
I'm a big fan of these light switch covers, which they go over the light, so you might not accidentally come to turn it off, which happens left and right a lot of times. So this is shout out to this idea in this footnote of, we're talking about covering tables, let's cover up, put away anything that's muksa and that we're not allowed to use on Shabbos, or cover it up so you won't come to accidentally use it. So so this is what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to do this now. Try putting away those things. It's an excellent point. All right. So Mirza Hashem, tomorrow we will be mamshech. We're right in the middle of this os, and we're going to pick it up. Oh, he says, let's just finish this sentence. Right. Custom is also to cover the tables in shuls. Right. Look over here in the footnote. The Makor Chaim, for the Chavos Yor, the Kitzer Halachos, they say even your stender to cover with the tablecloth. So that's a nice idea. So tomorrow, Mirza Hashem, we're going to pick it up from over here. I know we're going to get a lot of Chedushim in. And Mirza Hashem, Imam should continue these halachos. Everyone have a wonderful day. Baruch to you. Amazing how clear